So, welcome to this session of Zen Golf questions and answers. And please just jump right in if you have a question, and we'll do it on the spot. If you don't, I've got one that was sent in. Anybody? Anybody? Mike.
Thanks, Dr. Joe. A little story here, and then I'll ask you to maybe comment. Several years ago, this was before I read your book, was really struggling with my golf game. And as you all know, your friends are always very willing to give you advice when this is happening. So one day I'm playing with one of my friends who's an engineer, and his world is dealing very much with thousandths of an inch. So in that respect, it's a pretty small world. And he said, here's a tip for you. He said, I learned a long time ago, this is what I was told, he said a long time ago, and that is when you address the ball, you should be focusing on nothing but the ball, just the ball itself. And then he said, then someone told me that they take it even a step further and they focus not just on the ball, but on the letters on the ball. So my friend was holding up a Titleist, and he says, so I would focus on Titleist. But he said, I actually take it even further than that. He said, do you see the word Titleist? I said, yes. How about the letter I in the word Titleist? I said, sure. He said, let's narrow it down even further. What I do is, do you see the dot on top of the letter I in the word Titleist? I said, yes. He said, that's what I focus on. So this was pre-Zen Golf, okay? So I thought, okay, well, I'll give this a try. Needless to say, things got a lot worse after I tried to focus that closely on this little dot, this tiny little speck, this tiny little world. And so then when I read your book and I heard you talk about instead expansive awareness and how instead of focusing on the ball, focusing on where you want to send the ball on your target and how expansive awareness can help you in so many aspects of your game, then my mind just blossomed open. It all just made perfect sense. Of course, I've used it ever since. So if you could you talk just a little bit about small mind versus big mind, please?
Well, that's so interesting, because the first thing I think about is when I use a marker to mark the ball, I put a little, the Sharpie kind of marker to identify your own ball, right? I put a mark, I dot the I. Now I was going to cross the T, but it was a little messy, so I just dot the I's. There are two of them in Titleist. I play Shrixon, so I dot the I of Shrixon. So that's how I mark my ball, by dotting the I. Now, there are some studies about the quiet eye and focusing and all of these kinds of things. But and some people teach to narrow your focus, because if you're focused on that detail, what they're doing is they're trying to get your mind to only focus on that detail, so you're not thinking about your swing. And they also, this is kind of the old thing, keep your eye on the ball. Well, where does that expression come from? Keep your eye on the ball so that you don't, as you're swinging, look up and miss the ball or top the ball or something like that. So that's kind of the idea of that. But I found that is very constrictive. And instead, one of my favorite things, if you're going to do something like that, to keep you from looking up and away from the ball, I learned this from Amy Alcott, the Hall of Fame golfer. And she said when she finds herself coming up out of the shot, she tries to watch the club face hit the ball. Now, it's happening so fast that you can't actually see it. But if that's what you're looking for, then you'll be looking in that direction. But you're not looking for exactly where the club face is hitting the ball. You're just watching it like you're watching a movie. So again, soft gaze. Now, as you tighten your gaze, look, you see what I do with my eyes? I tighten my gaze, my whole face gets tighter. Well, your face gets tighter, your jaw gets tighter, then your neck and shoulders and arms, everything tightens up. When you soften your gaze, everything relaxes. So that's why it's much, much more helpful to soften your gaze in that way. Is that do it for you, Mike?
Yeah, and I'll just say that my engineer friend was a very, very uptight golfer. He was always tense, never able to relax, and I can see why now. But yeah, just the difference between using small mind and using big mind.
Exactly.
It's helped me. That concept, that notion, has helped completely change my game. Yeah.
And think about uptight. What does that expression mean? We don't ever say down tight. So uptight means everything goes like this, and all your energy's up here, and you're just swinging with your arms, and you lose connection with the upper and lower body, and it's not pretty. Let's go to one of the questions that was sent in. It seems that more often than not, I play the last few holes. Oh, this is a good segue. Tight and over par. Instead of being, now he said, instead of being aggressive and trying to make a few birdies. So we're going to put the aggressive part, pin in that, but any suggestions on finishing off the last few holes? Well, yes, that is an interesting one. It happens to a lot of people. And Mike, you were talking about your good friends. Very often your good friends will point out, hey, you just got 3 holes left. If you just make pars and bogeys on them, you're going to break 90 for the first time, or you're going to break 80 if you just par in. And they get you ahead of yourself. They get you thinking about your score, and they get you to change your game plan. Everything you did up to that, let's say 15th hole, you were playing golf and trying to play as well as you could. Now, I need to play not to make a mistake. So you get guidey, you get hesitant, you get fearful, and you get more careful. And when we get more careful, we tighten up. See, just saying the word careful, my hands tightened up. And it's like, okay, you need to throw this exactly into that spot, and you get all careful and you go, toss this over here, boom, no problem. So it's, again, tight and small mind rather than big mind in the same way. Now, why do we change that game plan? Because we start worrying about how the whole thing's going to turn out at the end. It's a little early on the 15th hole to worry about how it's going to turn out at the end. Then you're ahead of yourself. You're not in the present. You're not there. Your mind and body are not synchronized. So the suggestion is, don't change your game plan, and use this game plan that is independent of scoring. If you're on the 15th, you're on the 15th hole, whatever happened before has no effect on it physically, because you have the ball in hand, and you're not playing the 16th, 17th, or 18th holes. You're just playing this hole. So make a game plan just for that hole. And why not use this game plan all the way through the round? Give yourself the best chance for birdie without taking an unnecessary risk. That's why I put a pin in the word aggressive. You don't want to be any more aggressive than you have been all the way through, but you still do want to, if he's talking about making birdies, that means he's a low handicapper. You do want to still try to make birdie, but without taking an unnecessary risk. So you're still trying to go lower. You're not trying to protect your score. You're not thinking, don't make a mistake. You're still making positive targets, positive intention to try to shoot your lowest score. Now, when we say give yourself the best chance for birdie, that applies to everybody, but for higher handicaps, we want it to be a net birdie. If you're an 18 handicapper, well, par is birdie for you now on all the holes. So net birdie is what you're looking for on that one. Now, of course, if you hit the first shot in trouble or you miss the green, then you want to give yourself the best chance to save net par without taking an unnecessary risk. So you take the big numbers out of play that way, but you're still playing with the intention of trying to get your lowest score on that hole. The opposite, when you're tight and trying to prevent making a mistake, the three kinds of interference show up in your swing. Either one of the three or some combination of the three. And that is, you don't trust your swing, so you try to help it do what you want it to do. Or again, you don't trust it to go where you want it to go, so you don't trust that it won't go to a bad place, so you prevent it from going where you don't want it to go. Or you're just worried in general, and you try to be more careful and guidey, and you make a tentative swing, kind of holding back. So you're either preventing or helping or holding back. Any one of those three, and certainly a combination of those three, is going to produce a terrible, terrible shot. And therefore, the best thing that you can do is have the positive target, make as committed a swing as you can, with as much trust as you can, and give yourself room to play so you can handle the result, so you won't help or prevent or hold back. So that's the answer to that one. Now, I had one other little technique, and that was pretend that you're going to be playing 27 holes. So you're not on your last few holes. You're still just playing. And then after 18, go, oh, okay, I think I'll skip the last 9. So you trick yourself that way. I did that one time, and I played the hole really well, and I said, okay, where's the next tee? And they said, what are you talking about? That's the clubhouse right there. This was 18. I went, oh, hey, good, great. Okay, any other questions from your playing and your experience? Barbara, I loved your comment about having a terrible round, and then on the last hole, thinking about your grandson, and the warmth filled your heart, and you played the last hole your best golf. I think that was great.
I also want to say, because of that, that's why I tuned in today, because I had seen your email and I went, I got to listen to that. I got to get that in my game. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's good. Yeah, I've had that experience. It's you can actually talk yourself into a better game. If you're having a really miserable day, you just say to yourself, you know, this is the most fun I could possibly be having on a golf course. And at first you go, yeah, no. But then you just say it a couple of times and say, okay, I'm going to just convince myself that this is the most fun I could be having. And you hit one good shot and you go, hey, that was fun. And then you start to spiral in the upward direction, not score upward, but feeling better direction. Because before it was, this is terrible, I'm having a miserable time. Then you fulfill that prophecy and you have a more miserable time, and so on and so forth. Hi, Marcella. You want to unmute and say hi?
Hi, Joey. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Greetings from Poland.
We got Poland, and Jenny's in the UK. Anybody else from that far away?
I'm the furthest.
I think so. I think, John, you said you were from, you're in
New York, Rochester.
York, and Barbara's in Vermont. And Suzanne, are you in LA?
Yes, Los Angeles.
Yeah, me too.
This
And
Barbara's in
Hope's,
California.
Hope's in Indiana, right?
Wait, I'm in Indiana, Hope.
Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm in Fort Wayne.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
you two
okay.
should connect and play golf sometime.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
absolutely.
Okay, so you just use your chat function to send each other your information.
Hope, have you played yet?
I've been playing about 2 or 3 times a week because we here in Indiana, just a short thing, Doc. The weather, like yesterday, was 75. Today it's about 40, and we've been on that trend.
Got it. Understood. So any other questions?
Oh, I was going to follow up with that.
John, yeah.
So are you calling that soft gaze a swing thought? I'm more
No, that's part of
familiar
your
with that.
setup. It's part of your setup.
So you can't be empty mind when you're actually now gonna drop in and swing. What are you suggesting to do then?
Oh, that's an interesting question. You see, empty mind isn't really empty unless you're unconscious and not
Okay.
dreaming. And not dreaming. See, because if you're dreaming, it's still not
Right, right.
So what we want to do is we want to say, so what do we want our mind to, we talk about mindfulness. What do we want our mind to be full of? Well, we want it to be full of what we're experiencing in the present moment and a positive image for us to fulfill. Now, that positive image can be a mental picture of the shot you want to hit and where you want to go. It's interesting. This works really well with putting, and I teach this for distance control in putting, and that is, if you're tossing a ball to someone, unless you're not a very good thrower of a ball, it's not that hard to judge distance because your eyes see the distance, your hand feels the weight of the ball you're tossing, and your brain sends the message to the muscles, toss it over there. Well, the cool thing is your brain doesn't know the difference between a visual input from your eyes and a visual input from your memory. So if you remember what you were looking at, so before you swing, you take a good long look out at the target or a good long look at the distance to the hole when you're putting.
Oh, yeah.
And you look back down, and what your soft gaze isn't even looking at anything down towards the ground. Your visual sense is filled with the memory of the picture you saw out there. And then you swing or stroke the putt into the picture.
So where you want it to go, presumably.
Exactly.
Not too hard of a focus on that either, but yeah.
Well, no, you're holding a whole picture.
Maybe the pin.
So look behind me. You see the landscape?
Right.
Okay. So if I tilt over here, there's the green.
Right.
But you're seeing the whole thing. You're seeing the ball fly through the air to that spot in the big space. You aim at a spot, but you play to an area. So you see the whole area that you're sending it to. That way it's not tight, small mind vision.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the other thing, you might have a positive image of a feel that you want to have. It's and we don't want a how-to instruction. As it says in one of the chapters in Zen Golf, during your swing is not the time to give yourself a lesson, and also never keep more than 100 thoughts in your mind during your swing. So you want to have a what, and one of the images, here's a what instruction: watch the club face impact the ball. Okay, that's what to do, not how to do it. I didn't say how to use your eyes. Okay, you might say, turn and go through. That's a what. I didn't tell you how to turn. I didn't tell you which muscles to use, shoulder, hips, whatever. It's just a feel. So I call them swing feels or swing keys, but not swing thoughts as in instructional thoughts. And if it's a what kind of intention rather than a how to kind of intention, it's always better.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
So you may feel like, swing towards the inside quadrant of the ball. People who come over the top, I might tell them to do that. I don't tell them how.
Right.
I say swing towards that inside. Well, to swing towards the inside back quadrant of the ball, you have to turn and come from in here. You can't get there from over there, from over the top. So it makes you do what you want to do without telling you how to do it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Ken says, oh, Bryson and the three. Oh, yeah, that's other things on the list. Okay, so we did get her question. Can you teach me how to drive the ball, drive like Bryson DeChambeau? So my first response was, what kind of car does he drive? And I'll teach you how to drive like Bryson DeChambeau. But really, I said, no, I don't think so. And there's a pretty funny, if you look on Twitter for Bryson DeChambeau training, there's a video of him and his trainer going, come on, Bryson, come on, you can do it. One more rep. Here's the trophy. Oh my God. Okay. So you have to change your body to the extent that he changed his body. And you have to be willing to swing with equal length clubs and all of that stuff. Basically, you have to become Bryson DeChambeau. He's a unitary experience. What do they call that? A singularity. He is a singularity. So good luck with that. But I said, I can help you accept wherever it's going to go as well as Bryson, because if you're going to swing that hard with that swing speed, it's going to go very, very far and sometimes not in the right direction. What lets him swing with that abandon? Complete acceptance of where the ball is going to end up. Saying wherever it goes, I can handle it. Now, it helps to already be a multimillionaire. And then if he made a 10 on a hole and missed the cut, so I get the weekend off. That helps you swing with that kind of abandon, having that much money. Okay. And for players of his caliber who've won a major championship, second place doesn't mean that much to him. An average golfer on the tour, second place could mean a lifetime change for him or her. But for Bryson, not so much. So go ahead, swing for the fences. He doesn't care if he strikes out, because the home run is what he's after. So that's a big difference. Oh yeah, there Ken's got the link for the for that. I'm not going to take our time and put it up on the screen, but you can go to look in the chat. You'll see the link for that. Thank you, Ken. So so that's really what you need to do if you want to play like that. It's not whatever swing speed you have. It's all about acceptance, and that's what frees you up. If you can say, I can handle wherever this ends up for the shot I'm playing, you will make a commitment. If you say, I can't handle it, what's that line from A Few Good Men? You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the result, then get out of there. Change your plan, change your target, change your club, whatever it takes until you can commit. The other one, Ken wants me to tell the story. Okay, so I had a playing lesson, and we worked on his putting, and we used the tap-in stroke for his short putts, and it worked great. On any reasonable length green, the stroke you would put on a 6 or 8 inch tap-in putt, the ball's going to carry for the whole 3 feet. So just imagine a hole 8 inches in front of your ball, tap it into that imaginary hole, whoop, into the real hole it goes. So he's doing this great. We're on the 8th hole. We're going to have a 9-hole playing lesson. And he starts the 8th hole and says, I haven't even come close to 3-putting all day.
Uh-oh.
I see everybody knows from the reaction. I said, no, don't say that. Don't jinx it. Say, I've been putting great all day. I'm very happy. I'm going to stick with this process, but no. What ends up happening? He's got a 3-footer, abandons everything we did, and makes his old stroke. And he said, "You're right. I jinxed it." But he had a good sense of humor about it. And what did he do on the next one? He had a rather long putt. He putted it to about 3 feet, did his tap-in stroke, in it went. He said, "I promise, no more jinxes." So that was fun. One last question. We'll go 3 more minutes if you have it.
I could pick up on that because almost every great athlete is a superstitious guy. All the baseball players have all these baseball players, you really notice it because they have all these little rituals, they spit over here, they kick this way, and then they get in the batter's box. And I think you're saying something like that because if your thought goes in the right place, you're more likely to do the right thing. They build these little rituals up I said superstitious. That's probably not the right word. But.
No, it is exactly the right word. You are exact. Yes, it is exactly the right word. It is superstition because they don't shave one time and the team wins the playoff game and now they have their playoff beard and they're not going to shave till they lose. What does shaving have to do with the outcome of the game? Very tangential. Maybe it does, but it's not really observable. But because they say it's a placebo effect, basically. That's what we're talking about. In a positive way, superstition is a placebo effect. Okay? I found a penny. I found a heads-up penny. Now I have it in my pocket. Hey, I played great. I'm going to bring that penny with me. That's my ball mark. And what we do, if we want to keep it as a positive superstition, we ignore when it doesn't work. Right? We ignore when it doesn't work. And
that's part of a lot of golf teachers.
Part of the superstition. That's part.
They say forget your bad shot right away. Don't. Yeah.
Okay, but then if it's a negative superstition, the problem is we also forget when it doesn't work and we think everything's going to keep going bad. So we don't remember that we said that one time and we actually didn't 3-putt. So unfortunately we believe too much in the negative, and we're kind of geared that way from prehistoric times. Because if we anticipate something positive and it doesn't happen, we don't die. But if we anticipate something negative, if we don't anticipate something negative and the tiger jumps out, whoop, we're out of the gene pool. So we're genetically bred to anticipate the negative and not put a lot of emphasis on the positive. So keep that in mind for where your mind goes and look at your response, because your response to results, most golfers pick out what went wrong with the shot if it wasn't perfect. I want you to pick out what went right with the shot and to say, "Ooh, that was close," as opposed to what's wrong with me. And if you have that attitude, whenever it's not a really, really good shot, I define a really good shot as I wouldn't take it over. That's the definition of a really good shot. I wouldn't take it over. Close is, I wouldn't mind one more try at that one. But it's usable. The stinker is like, where was my head? What was I thinking? That's nothing like how I play. So if you hit the close one, which is, maybe you'll get 20% really good, 20% stinkers, and 60% are going to be the close ones. It was okay, but not great. Those, pick out something positive, and know that a slight adjustment is going to make all the difference between that almost and the really good one. And then you won't try to fix too much in your game and unravel everything you were doing well, in hopes of doing it perfectly. So everybody, thank you so much. This was a really fun session. Please make sure you're signed up for the free Zen Golf newsletter. You can sign up for it on the homepage on the bottom of the homepage of zengolf.com. Sign up for that newsletter, and then we will let you know when the April programs are. So thank you very much, and
Thank you very much.
have a great time next time you go out on the golf course.
Yeah.
Happy
Thank
Easter.
you.
Thank you.
Happy
Lovely.
Bye,
Easter.
everybody.
That was a
Thank you,
lot
Doc.
of good information.
Thank you.
Both
Bye.
sessions were outstanding. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.